That's
Yes,
okay,
you're
we'll connect.
not gonna see anything, but
You're
you're live.
know
on
it says
there now.
no, oh, I'm live. right now. All right, so, this is Friday, January 19th and 2024, and we are having a meeting of the House Sexual Harassment Prevention Panel. And here I'm Representative Molly Burke, the chair of the committee. Do you want to introduce yourselves?
Patty McCoy.
Mike Berwick, Wyndham 4 District.
Co-chair.
I'm Carolyn Brannigan, Franklin 1.
And I'm Frederick, Chicken King.
Okay, so we have a couple of agenda items to discuss. One is, I thought it would be good for us to get together in the, after the sexual harassment training, just to discuss, you know, how do people feel it went? Is there other changes we should make? Overall, you know, what was the, just having this general discussion about that. Does anybody have any comments about the training or? Yes, Carolyn.
I thought the presentation was good, fine, adequate. I did get a couple of complaints, maybe a handful or less. Essentially, Caroline, do we have to do this every year? You know, why do we do it every year? Didn't we do this last year? You know, that it was a bit repetitive unnecessarily. I'm not sure if it is repetitive, but that's what I got.
Okay.
I think adequate is about as far as I would go for my,
You have a professional,
yeah, I mean, it checks the box.
Yeah.
From what I can recall, it was probably the same presentation from last year, but it gets to that.
Right.
I think it could be far more robust.
um,
Yeah, I would
What
have to
in-
give
you
some
wanna-
thought.
you have a suggestion?
Yeah, I would wanna, I mean, if we wanna go there, I could most certainly give some thought to what a curriculum that.
Okay, so maybe
But-
you could, we could talk to the speaker and maybe you could,
Yeah.
you know, because they engage in PSL.
Are we obligated there?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't.
We've had trainers from Vermont. who I
Yeah.
thought were more
Yeah.
dynamic and understanding Vermont. Yeah, that could be a good.
Yeah,
Also, I mean, I think if it was, I don't know if it is or not, more interactive, or if it's just, you know, you sit next to your partner and.
Yeah.
It's like,
Handout sheets were actually, I think that kind of thing.
It did.
More of that.
maybe
I think it
it was
could be
the
more-
same as last year.
I think it could be more interactive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and more of why we do this frequently, right? To explain the concerns that you're hearing is,
Yeah.
no, we should do this frequently, but here's why we're doing this
Uh-huh.
frequently, rather than just an instructive.
Student day,
definition.
at 9:30,
Yeah,
at the floor.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think when our attorneys did it, they gave sort of real life examples. Remember that? Do
Yes.
you think that that was helpful?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, there were case studies here that were just supposed.
What our schools
Well-
are doing.
That might have been prior to,
Oh, I do remember, same people did it last year.
yes, but prior to that, I think Betsy MS was one of the.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, yeah.
The attorneys did it.
Yeah, attorneys in-house did.
Yeah.
I thought that was.
Yeah, I think they
That's
did.
just fine.
That's the pretty.
But of course, they're so swamped, you know, that
Right.
at the beginning of this session, they're still writing bills
I'm
and,
not suggesting them,
yeah, no, but I think.
but I think they were more dynamic.
Yes,
than
okay.
used to.
Okay, all right, so, I will, mention to, Connor, maybe just to say that we'd like to discuss for future presentations, that we do something else and that Troy could be a great, fabulous.
So, I mean, do you do this in your line of work?
Been a while.
Or do you have people in the hospital that? you-
No, I meant at ED.
Yeah, yeah.
So my, I mean, my professional writing has all been on engaging men specifically with campus rape culture. And sexual harassment. But it's been a while since I've done anything, but yeah, I will have a pretty good idea. of it.
Some of the schools are doing, and I know in Putney is right at elementary, they have their small groups, I forget what they call them, groups. But they're bringing up the topics of discussion include consent.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important thing. I
Uh-huh.
think at any age, it's important to continue to put that on the table. You know, what is consent?
Mhm,
Why is that important in any interaction?
mhm.
Yeah.
Great. Anybody else have anything else to say? The one thing I liked about that was, I liked the whole idea of thinking about it under the umbrella of respect.
Yeah.
And how do we create a respectful, in every way, just in, not necessarily in the issue.
And some of the examples they gave, not that it couldn't happen here, but I've never seen people go off like the examples they gave.
Yeah,
And
they're a
maybe
national
because I think,
organization.
yeah,
Did you think the examples weren't real?
uh,
They were real supposedly.
no, I don't doubt that they were real, but I don't know that, I've seen anything in Vermont like that here in the State House. And not that people haven't experienced it, but, yeah. I think we need to be vigilant, and make sure it doesn't too.
Yes.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything to add? Okay, so I will follow up with you, so you can tell us. With that feedback and offer you as a resource.
We got a year.
Yeah.
We've got a year.
You're gonna hear, yeah, but I think, right now, I'm gonna do it now, because otherwise, in like 3 months, I'm gonna totally forget.
No, one of the things in education is to have a reflective piece after something happens. And even if we did a 3-question evaluation.
And you can do them immediately.
Yeah. How did this go? You know,
What
just to
did you
put it in
learn?
people's minds again. I mean, looking to the educator here to what would work.
Ask for their suggestions. what-
Ask for suggestions.
You can do a pre and post.
Pre and post,
Instead
that's
of about being here. But versus,
Yeah.
are you like, and
All right. So that's item 1. And then I just put down, general discussion, any issues that we want to discuss publicly about anything related to our work or the building or anything like that. And then after that, we can go into executive session.
I spoke to you yesterday about this, just to make doubly sure that we are in line. The Senate passed whatever we did, because we did it like the last
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
day of session, pretty much
Yeah.
close to the last.
I
day.
am,
Have they?
I am almost positive.
Okay,
they did.
that's what I.
And
really
we will
would
check
like
with
to know.
Damien.
Yeah,
Okay,
because this has been like.
Yeah.
Mhm.
how many
10
years?
years.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, can we get on
Yeah.
the same page?
I'm pretty sure that it is done. But we will confirm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Because they're on the website and then they're,
I don't know if they
yeah,
officially adopted their.
Yeah. okay. All right,
Yeah,
They did end the session adopting,
they did.
yeah,
adopt.
policy
okay,
and
great.
procedure.
Thank you. All right.
Webpage, the most updated, I'm on the committee system for that. as well.
Okay, I think it was like at the very last.
It was at the bitter end.
Yeah.
Okay.
The bitter end. Okay, great, thank you, Lindsay. Anything else? Well, let's hope that we don't have any work this session. Yeah, let's hope that, but I also think that, it's really important that people feel, like a lot of times people was like, oh, there was nothing, so I'm gonna bring it up.
That just came to me, that, I think that was missing from this presentation is, like, here are the members of this panel, there's 5 of us. Am I count right? There's 5 of us.
Yeah.
right? We're not missing anybody.
Yeah.
Right, these are people you can go to if you have concerns or want to wonder,
Yeah.
or, yeah.
I wonder if we should, as a group, go to each caucus, say, here we are,
Here we are.
person
Yeah, that's
He's
a good
looking for
idea.
somebody.
Yeah, you heard the training, but we wanted to bring it more to the personal level.
That's a good idea.
And, you know, we want you to know that even if you think something is like minor, or, oh, I just didn't want it, or you're worried about, you know, I didn't want to make a big deal out of it or whatever, that that you can read the policy and realize that there are steps that you can take, and it's all very helpful. Okay.
But with the acknowledgement that there is a mandatory requirement to report. If you-
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily.
So we should then maybe discuss how we would want to do that.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to do that.
And I don't think there's any, I think it might be a positive thing to do it a few weeks out, so that it's more of a reminder.
Right.
than a-
Right, okay. So, do you want to meet next week? Just to discuss the process that we would do, and would we all go?
For us, yeah,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't, I hesitate for a caucus next week because they're having the.
No, I'm not saying,
Designation.
I'm not saying to do it next week. It
Oh,
would be, this would be after, this would be like next Friday, we would meet.
oh, we would come back.
We
and
would just
discuss
meet
What we
here
would say.
to just discuss,
Okay.
you know, how do we want to present this? I mean, I think like, what, 5 minutes of the presentation? Yes, hi.
Morning.
Meeting.
Why?
At the floor.
It took us a bit to get the, we had Sean in as a, tech
IT guy.
advisor. And, and Lindsay was available at the last minute,
Thanks,
so
Lindsay.
everything worked out, and,
Exactly what you were planning on for Friday morning.
revised the agenda, and we went through, I guess we should first mention for the people, anybody that's watching, that our attorney, Damian Leonard, has just come into the room. And I'm just gonna recap a couple of things. We just sort of went over the sort of evaluation of the training, and people felt that it was, there were some complaints that, do we have to do this every year? It's repetitive. Troy felt that it was adequate, it checks the boxes, but it could have been more robust, especially given his experience. Patty felt it should be more interactive, and more like, why do we do this? Mike said there should be more talk about consent, what they do in the schools, and a reflective piece, and anyway, so those were
Well,
the.
you should mention your part about the staff.
Oh, yes, and I said I thought that the overall framework of thinking about respect was a very good way to frame the whole thing. So we just done that, and then we just talked about the idea of going to each caucus, because the training didn't really sort of identify us as people you could go to, and emphasize, you know, the different ways that you could make a complaint or just talk to somebody. And that we should go to each caucus maybe in a few weeks to just bring that information, just as a reminder. So that's where we're at right now.
Great.
So, anyway, and then I think, so we're gonna schedule a meeting for next week to discuss how we do that, right?
Okay.
Next week at 8 o'clock, I'll make sure we can get the room. I'll check with you now.
I'll work on it.
You'll have a week's notice instead of an hour.
Are you anticipating this would be a long meeting?
No,
Could we push it back to 8:30?
fine.
That works better for me too.
Okay, all right, 8:30. Yeah, I think it just so we're not just
Yeah.
going in there cold. That's all. I think we could do it in probably 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. And really appreciate your expertise. And I don't know, Damien, whether you'll be able to come to that meeting. So.
Yeah, I should be able to. This is, I realized after we scheduled this that I have a weekly planning meeting for one of my committees, but they're working in another subject area right now. So,
Okay,
I think we're okay. I've been in touch with the chair. I'm just gonna. check
okay,
in with-
all right. So after looking, so Lindsay, I think we're gonna go into executive session now.
Okay.
So,
So you need a motion to go into executive session.
okay,
And you'll need to state the reason, which would be to discuss an inquiry that was received by a member of the committee.
okay,
And then, and just to protect the confidentiality and privacy of the individuals who made the inquiry of that committee member. So we need a motion from a member, and the committee needs to vote
okay.
to do that.
Does anyone want to make a motion?
I move we go into executive session. And
For the reasons stated. Or to discuss an inquiry that was received by a member of the family.
to discuss an inquiry.
And to protect confidentiality. Okay.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay.